Shalom. As always, all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Lord willing, this one will be edifying to the elect, the remnant that will be saved. All right, so this is Second Timothy chapter 1. Verse 7, and it reads, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." And the reason why I am reading the scripture is because the Lord has given us a spirit of confidence, right? Although we may battle certain demons like anxiety, doubt, fear, which the Lord also creates, because the Lord is a balanced power. Yahweh is a balanced power. However, the Lord has given us a spirit where we can combat those feelings, or those emotions or those concerns, however you want to phrase it, right? The Lord has given us a spirit of power and of love. And what's love? The law. That's how you love the Most High. The law teaches you true love, correction, guidance, how you should function as a man, a woman, even a child, right? So the Lord has given us a spirit of power, right? A spirit that we can build on and improve certain things in our lives that we may be lacking in, right? And that's really where the real confidence comes from. The confidence comes from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and this faith. So even doing certain things in life that you may be nervous about, you may be a little timid about, whether it's, speaking in the truth or speaking to, strangers or whatever it may be. I'm just giving little examples. It can be anything. The Lord has given us a spirit of power. So that's what we lean on. Okay? So let me just read it in the NLT. Just to read the scripture again, but in a different version. So it says, "For Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, see, but of power, love, and self-discipline." So how do we get the self-discipline? From the law, right? The law teaches self-discipline ultimately, because it gives you correction, it gives you guidance. Okay, let's go into that word. Let's see if I can get it. But yeah, so things that we do in this life, we have to think about these type of scriptures. We have to know that when we're having doubts and feelings of insecurity, because we do battle these type of demons, we do have the spirit of power, from Yahweh Shemiel Shai. All right. So the word timidity here is, it says fearfulness, cowardice. So we have the spirit opposite of being a coward, right? And the Lord has given us a spirit of power, a spirit of lions, right? It says strength, ability. So we all have ability as Israelite men, women, and children. Power for performing miracles, moral power, excellence of soul, right? So moral power, excellence of soul, all of these things go into confidence, right? And power and resources arising from numbers, power consisting in or resting upon enemies' forces. Yeah, that's pretty much a point. Yahweh Shemiel Shai has given us all that we need while we battle in this flesh. Okay? And now this is one that the Christians love. So this is let's get Philippians chapter 4. 4, verse 13. And it reads, Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. I can do all things through Yahushai Hamashiach, which strengthens me. Right. It literally means what it says. And in the NLT, it says, for I can do all things through Yahushai who gives me strength. Okay, so we get our confidence, right? We get our strength from Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai. Right? So, give me a second here. Yeah. So it's not about us per se, like how we feel or I'm confident. It's really the Spirit of the Lord. Going back to the first precept, the power that the Lord has given us, right? To be confident, to do all things through Him, right? So we're able to do these things. It's easier said than done, but we have to meditate on these things. We have to put ourselves in certain situations, whether it is challenging yourself to do a certain amount of videos a week, a certain amount of workouts in a week, a certain amount of fast in a month, or whatever it may be. The Lord gives you the ability to do this, and the confidence is through Him we're able to do these things. Whether it's financial goals, or we can do all these things through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and of course through the faith. Faith. What is faith? Faith is that belief that we can actually do what the scriptures is saying. Okay, so the key thing is remembering that we get confidence and faith from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So if you're lacking in confidence in different areas, just think about the scriptures. What does the scriptures say? What guidelines or instructions or spiritual food can you get from the scriptures regarding things that we're lacking, or things that we're battling, insecurities, doubt, fear. Remember, the Lord has given us that spirit of power which overcomes it, right? All right, so let me just get a few more precepts here. I think the point is pretty much made. I don't want to, make this one too long. All right, so this is and also self-reflection is also something very important. Let me get this one here. This was actually the first precept that I had in mind, but now would be a good time to read this, because we have to examine ourselves. Okay, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse... Actually, it's 2 Corinthians, right? Not first. Right, so it reads, examine yourself whether you be in the faith. Prove your own self. Know ye not your own selves how Yahushua is in you, except ye be reprobates. Right. Now let's read it in the NLT. Examine yourselves to see if your faith is genuine. Test yourself. Surely you know that Yahushua is among you. If not, you have failed the test of genuine faith. So you have to really examine yourself if you truly believe, right? You have to check your spirit, your actions, your thoughts, to see if you're really walking on the path of faith, or you're just talking, right? You're just pretending. How are you during the week? How are you when no one's around? Because you're gonna have men that are good performers. When they're amongst men, they're good at performing and presenting certain things a certain way. But it's all that matters is your confidence in Yahweh Shemel Shai. That word confidence, that's what really matters, right? So let's close here with, let me see, Lamentations chapter Okay. Haven't seen this one in a long time, but I do have it here jotted down. All right. Bear with me here. Let me just see. Yeah, this is a good chapter. So this is Lamentations chapter 3, verse 40, and it says, "Let us search and try our ways and turn again to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai." And in the NLT it says, "Instead, let us test and examine our ways. Let us turn back to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai." Why? It's very important to self-reflect. You know, that's how you learn. That's how you improve. You know, you can correct yourself or learn what's destroying you or what you need to limit. You know, and doing that will give you consistency, order, as well. You know, developing. Establishing some type of order through examining yourself, learning from different things that we go through, different situations that you end up in, right? And the truth ultimately, gives you that scope, to identify what needs to be changed or improved. Okay? And ultimately, all of this leads back to confidence in Yahweh Shem Shai. Because Yahweh Shem Shai is one that gives us that spirit of power. Okay? As it says, in Proverbs, I believe, a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. So you may be feeling that way, like you're failing or you're not improving, but you got to keep trying. You got to keep enduring. That's why the scripture speaks about the elect. When it says, "He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved." That's talking about a member of the elect that falleth 7 times, but still gets back up, still tries, still continues, still tries to improve through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay? Remember, as I mentioned in 2 Timothy, the Lord did not give us a spirit of fear, right? Even though the Lord has created that, the Lord has given his elect a spirit of power and also the law. All right? And now in James, it also speaks about being a doer of the word and not just a hearer. So all these things add to the increase, and an improvement of your confidence, right? So it's important to know your weaknesses and know what you need to strengthen and know what you need to stay away from. All right? And we can do these things, all of these things, through Yahweh Shem Shai, and with the help of the scriptures as well, right? So this video is solely, through the spirit, examining myself, putting myself in the Lord putting the spirit on me to put myself in a certain situation to learn and observe myself and get, sometimes we're not as close or what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes we're really not in tune with ourselves. For the most cases, we're not, where we really don't know ourselves that well. But it's very important to know your spirit in this truth, So don't shy away from things that make you feel anxious or nervous, because we have the spirit of power. That's where you'll get the increased outs. That's where you will improve through these situations, that have these type of emotions or feelings or demons that pounce and make you feel a certain way. The spirit of power overcomes this. So that's why it's important to stay in the spirit, Because when you're in the spirit, confidence flows. Okay? So I'm just leave it there, and as always, all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bahasham, Brakahak Wadash. And Lord willing, this one was edifying to the elect. Shalom.